I'm ready to play the music.
I'm ready.
If you're ready to hear it.
I'm ready.
I am.
Let's do this.
Right on.
That's our new theme song, isn't it?
Superb.
Well, does that mean that the session has officially started, or what?
I guess so.
Or did we
It
I
just
seems
just leave
like
Laura in charge
start?
of the music.
I
We're
see.
leaping into it. Shaft.
Shaft.
Thank you for
Right.
picking Shaft.
Oh, I'm so glad I did.
Yeah,
Did you enjoy it?
I did.
Yes.
It was good.
Can you dig it?
I feel like I can
Sure
dig
can,
it.
Cat.
Oh, we've got to go straight in here. Right. Fernando, did you like it?
I did like it, but I only just liked it.
You only just liked it. Okay.
How many
What did you like
installments did you
about it?
watch in it?
Oh,
Oh, I watched it in several installments, but all of them, yeah, I guess just one day. Yeah, only one day, but I think several installments of maybe 10 to 15 minutes.
Whoa.
Wow,
That's a lot
that's
of
an interesting
installments.
way.
Yeah, I guess I was not very interested in the beginning of the film.
you weren't interested in footage of a man walking slowly through New York, swearing at people.
Then
That was a
I-
stroll.
I think I did watch the last 30 minutes continuously.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, the last 30 minutes were very cumulative, so that makes
They were
sense.
extremely cumulative.
Yes.
Laura, did you like it?
I did. I really liked it. My favourite bits were when he was just walking
Great.
through New York and it was just playing cool music over it.
Yeah.
I liked it when he punched
Oh.
people in the face as well.
Yep, that
was
was
great.
quite good.
Yeah.
I liked it when
Yeah.
he made sort of jokes that made him sound cool, but if you think about it, weren't funny.
Oh, like what?
Like at the start where the guy holds up the pen to him and says, "You ain't that black," and he holds up a white coffee cup and says, "Well, you ain't that white either, baby."
Come on, Chef. What is it with this black shit? Huh? You ain't so black.
And you ain't so white, baby.
And then laughs.
That
And
was
it's like, oh, that's kind of
hilarious.
funny, but also, why was that? Like, what was that whole conversation about? That was. Yeah,
Got
all
to
of
elaborate
these.
on the joke, Shaft.
I've got to explain the joke. It's the only way it can be funny.
He wasn't he cool?
Yeah,
was
what a cool
very
guy.
cool.
Yeah, he
And I
didn't give a
think-
shit, did he?
I think this is evidence that cigarettes are just cool. Like,
Oh yeah,
there's just
Yeah.
no arguing with it.
Wait, that is...
Yeah.
I thought that had been established. I think that some people just started smoking
Yeah, I don't think
because
there's an
it is
argument
cool.
for that. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
I thought it was
Yeah.
maybe in doubt.
No one does it for any other reason.
Mm.
to be fair, they weren't that cool when the lame white police officer was smoking them.
Oh, you know
No?
what's cool? Cigars.
What's cool?
Oh, even,
Oh.
yeah.
It's another
Love a good
level of
cigar.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody in this
Although-
film was ever not smoking.
Yeah, I can't think of any times anyone was not smoking.
Because they're
But
cool.
smoking's pretty cool, so fair enough. If this had been on Disney Plus, it would have had the contains depictions of tobacco
Yeah.
thing at the start.
Would that have even sufficed for all the
With-
smoking? My God.
Contains continuous depictions of tobacco and occasionally other things.
Yeah.
So sorry, I haven't really asked.
yeah.
Claire, what did you think?
I thought it was great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Like properly great, or great in the way that it was kind of funny to watch, but actually kind of terrible?
Oh. yeah, I mean, it had issues, but it was very entertaining.
Great.
So, make of that what you will.
I'm inclined to agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, from
Why-
the very start, I knew it was going to be good, where he's like, the first line is him being a badass jaywalker and walking across the street, and someone beeping at him and him yelling, "Hey, fuck you, man."
Up yours! Get out of the way!
Yes, that was the perfect opening. Just
Yeah.
strolling through oncoming traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that really set him up. I really knew from then that we
Yeah.
were in good hands.
Yeah.
So
I-
why did you hate it, Fernando?
Well, I
Yeah, why
just
is your
did
opinion
not-
different to ours?
I just did not find most of the jokes funny, and also the story per se was a little lacking, I thought.
That was my issue with it too, but go on. We'll
I mean, it ended quite weak, I thought. And I was like, what? This is the
Yeah.
end? Well, I guess, I suppose that this is the end. That's fine. But why, why
Yeah, I'm
was this
totally
film
with
maybe
you.
not just 15 minutes long?
yeah.
My favorite part was when they were having street food, hot dogs, I think, and the Coca-Cola. It made me wish that I was in New York having a plant-based hot dog with Coca-Cola.
Very nice.
Me too.
With onions, because
With
Oh.
pickled onions, yeah,
with pickled onions,
and ketchup.
ruined
God,
it.
you and pickles. You love pickling things.
It's an obsession.
And jalapenos as well.
Jalapeno.
Sounds like a
Hang
feast.
on.
That's nice.
A hot dog. This is madness.
Wait, that is the traditional way of having hot dogs when you go to the cinema in Mexico.
With
Nice.
jalapenos.
Yes.
I hate to correct you, both of you, but it's pronounced jalapeno.
Oh, yeah, jalapeno.
I said
Yeah, okay.
jalapeno.
Oh. I think that's what they say in Argentina.
Do you also call them fajitas?
Absolutely.
In the Portugal style.
A la Portuguese. See what I did there? It's French.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay.
What were we saying?
Scenes Fernando liked included him getting street food.
I enjoyed that too.
Yeah.
Anything where it was
Well,
like, oh, this is New York, isn't it? This is like what you think of when you think of New York.
Yeah.
This is like a
Yeah, it
pretty cool, like old timey. Yeah.
Taxi!
Yeah.
I love that they just run into the street and yell taxi and one comes up right then.
I want to
So
try
one
that.
time in 5 it drives past and then you shout white mother and then you get in the next one.
What the hell is this? You white mother. Taxi, taxi!
So this is what we've got to talk about this, just that the crazy 70s street lingo was just so good. I love it. I couldn't help myself. I downloaded the script afterwards and it's absurd. Like if you read it, I kind of can't believe anyone ever spoke like that. How everybody, like, they don't, instead of saying man or woman, they just say cat every
Love it.
time.
It's a meeting at 9. I can't guarantee it. I just heard some cat tell another cat that they both in the movement with Ben, Dick.
Yeah, well, stay loose, baby.
And they use all these, like, crazy words.
I think we should do that. Go back. I mean, we're slowly realising that gender doesn't really exist. So saying man or girl or babe doesn't make sense. You just call everyone cat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, instead of having like the ladies' toilets and the gents' toilets, just have like the groovy cats' toilets.
Yeah. And then the lame squares.
Yeah. Oh, I'd be in the squares toilet, I bet.
Yeah, me too. But at least I'd know it was gender neutral.
Yeah. Maybe I'll start smoking cigars and then I can go into the cat's toilet.
Yeah, that's true.
That was clearly a
there's
precondition of
ashtrays
being
in
a
the
cool
cats.
cat. Yeah, there is. Cigar dispensers.
Right, so I've just brought up the script on my phone. Let me read some of this out because I kind of can't believe that it was all like this.
Is this going to be the most English thing I've ever heard?
What's happening, Marty? Same old 6s and 7s, Shaft. 2 guys were looking for you like 10 minutes ago. Harlem cats? How the hell should I know? Everybody looks the same to me. Take it easy, Marty. Take care, Shaft. Thanks, brother. Too much sugar this morning. Then don't drink it, baby. just the whole thing. It just sounds so fake. Like, surely no one ever really spoke like this all the time. It must be like an exaggerated, trying to make him sound cool thing.
I don't know. Maybe they did. Maybe that was just like Harlem stuff. Is that weird to say? I hope that they did speak like that. And I agree that we should bring it back.
I mean,
yeah, that's great.
I desperately hope that they did.
Yeah. This is like you with the sailing talk, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, God. And this was actually based on a book, wasn't it? So there must be like paragraphs and paragraphs of this stuff. Yeah, I think so.
Oh. Cool.
$50 shoes, black coat, grey flares. One was wearing a funky plaid coat. Other one was sharp. They all had heat on them. The one in the plaid coat had his hands in his pocket, pulled his coat tight, you dig? It's just so good.
Oh. I'm digging it.
Had any of us ever seen this before?
I hadn't.
Nope.
No.
No? Oh, new one again for all of us.
Like, I've heard of it, and I've heard that song 100 times. I love it.
Yeah.
But I never really knew what the whole thing was about. I just knew that it was this, like, culturally important film that made big waves in cinema when it came out, and that they made a remake of it. But, never actually watched the thing. I was not disappointed.
Definitely. I did that thing again that I did with The Thing, which is I started watching the new version, being like, this seems very modern. God, Samuel L. Jackson just does not age at all, does he? He has always looked... My God, the last 40 years have been kind to him.
Oh, wow. How far in did you get?
About 10 minutes. And then I'm sort of a bit like, something seems wrong here again.
Slowly dawned on you when he pulled out his mobile phone and started talking to someone.
Oh my God, how much easier would it have been if they had mobile phones?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, all the walking up and down asking any cat they meet whether they've seen a groovy cat in flares and sharp shoes, yeah. No, that was cool as well, though, wasn't it? Like these montages of him, like, going up and down, talking to random people in random corners of the street, like buying chestnuts and asking if they've seen Steely Dan around or whatever.
Did you say Steely Dan?
I don't know. What was his name? Who's Steely Dan? Is that a singer?
I think what is a Steely Dan is the question you want to ask.
Steely Dan. No, that rings a bell.
They're a band. They were a band in the 70s.
Oh, they are a band. Okay.
But named after a sex toy.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Well, that's new to me.
It's a type of dildo.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, bad example. Anyway, that stuff was all cool.
Speaking of Shaft.
Oh dear.
Sorry.
Oh, Claire.
Claire almost always bringing the tone up, but this one time bringing the tone down.
Someone had to. I actually didn't enjoy that montage a huge amount. Just because there were so many unnecessary close-ups of him. They didn't move the scene on in any way. It was just, let's look at his face up close to give the illusion of movement or something. I don't know.
I want to say that was a big selling point of this film, was you get to see Shaft close up looking cool. I'm going to say that's a big reason of why people liked it.
Okay.
A lot of stuff happened that didn't move the plot on. And it was just about Shaft being cool.
Yeah. I don't know, there's something...
For instance.
That I also had issue with the rampant misogyny.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Oh, we've definitely got to talk about that.
Yeah.
In fact, that's probably a good place to move on, isn't it? So, yeah, the misogyny.
What a segue.
Yeah. That was smooth, wasn't it? Yeah, he's got
Michael,
this.
Michael, will we talk about the misogyny now?
Yeah, let's do that.
That seems like a good cue.
If you're doing technical writing or something, they say what you're going to do, then do it, and then say what you just did. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just signalling, trying to move things along. So we were introduced quite firmly in the opening song to his baby. We were told he's a complicated man and no one understands him but his woman.
He's a complicated man, but no one understands him but his woman.
John Shaft. Yep. Plural.
And yeah, well, he just the song just said woman, and I was led to believe that one woman was going to be his only woman, his baby who understands him, and that they were going to be in love and everything. And then he totally just has it off with this other woman and never tells her. What was going on with that?
Wait, isn't that like normal life?
Well, I'm starting to think so.
Yeah, it's not often in a film that a character doesn't have some sort of recriminations for sleeping with someone else, but he just totally got away with it. Didn't cause any problems for him whatsoever.
Yeah.
Maybe cool downtown cats like him can do whatever they want. I don't know. But yeah, I was kind of disappointed by that. I kind of liked their outrageously sexual relationship. That then just turned out to be just she was apparently one of many, and it's not even like James Bond where he's like single and free and doing whatever he wants. Like he was totally in a relationship where she obviously thought. But there we are.
And also had a great deal of patience. Yeah, they had children, didn't they?
Did they have children?
He was asleep in the girls' room.
Yeah.
Oh.
The other man. The other cat.
Mm-hmm. I think there was a little boy called Marvin as well.
Marvin?
Yeah, because I spotted the high chair and then very quickly they said, shh, Marvin's asleep. And then told him to go and sleep in the girls' room.
Did we ever see Marvin or the girl?
I don't think so. Wow. Irrelevant.
Maybe she's the only one that understands him. Maybe she is his woman. It's his girl, his daughter.
Oh.
Probably not.
I think some people are coming and going.
Wait, who's his daughter?
I don't. Didn't you say Didn't you say he had a daughter with a high chair?
So he had a son with a high chair. No, wait, what? No, but they definitely had a girl's bedroom.
Yeah, that's how we know they were daughters. At least one daughter.
Man,
because the body slept in the girl's room.
Yeah,
and they refer to someone called Marvin being asleep.
Yeah, okay.
Can't even work out who the mother of his children is. And that's a problem with us. Sorry, that was supposed to seem sarcastic and indicate that the problem is his womanising. But it didn't really work. So
I think
that's a shame.
combination of his womanising and perhaps poor storytelling, which prioritised him doing cool, outrageous stuff and not communicating the story well. And I, for one, think it was great.
Wouldn't change a thing.
How confident about yourself do you have to be to just go to someone's apartment and just lie naked on their sofa waiting for them to come back from work?
Yeah.
That's a hell of a move.
It went well for him, though.
Yeah, it seemed to work out.
Yeah. Yeah, that was surprising. I'm glad that they knew each other.
Yes.
That would have been awful.
That's not one you can do when it's someone you're just having a one-night stand with. You need to actually meet the person first, don't you?
You're so unromantic.
But yeah, that was fun. I wonder how many films had featured interracial sex scenes before this.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because this was 1971. I feel like that was quite a big deal.
That's true. Yeah, no idea. I think there were some interesting things with race to be said. I'm not sure what they are, but I had a bit of a read about it.
Thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, the misogyny and the sleeping around was definitely more to do with his masculinity, but maybe it was a specific kind of like black masculinity that they were just owning this portrayal. But I don't know enough to really put that into sensitive enough words.
Oh, you always say that, but we always have a bash at it, don't we?
We do always just have a bash at it.
So this was what people call a blaxploitation film,
yes,
right? Could you summarise what that means?
Was that when they sort of co-opted black stories and kind of black-centred films, but not in a way that's exploitative and sells to white audiences and basically just co-opts? No, I couldn't say that in a very...
you were very put on the spot there. I thought that was like Michael was like, "Here's a word, define it."
Well, I thought you might be able to offer a side to this that I haven't. But yeah, so I did some reading about. I mean, I chose this film because I had done a little bit of reading about this term blaxploitation films, and I came to realise that this was quite an important genre, and this was maybe the first one, certainly one of the first two major ones. And my understanding of it is that there's a broader thing called an exploitation film, which is not so much like exploiting the actors, but like exploiting the fact that it contains a certain feature. So like there were a whole load of space movies in the 60s during the space race, and those were considered exploitation films because they were exploiting people's interest in space, and they would be like making a big deal of, this is a feature that this film has, come and see it if you want to see that. But my understanding is that the idea of blaxploitation films was basically saying, oh, there are black people who want to see films, and there are other people who will find it interesting to see films that contain black actors and discuss like black communities and stuff. Let's make that a big, like a key selling point of the film. And in many cases early on, there are ups and downs to how well they sort of treated black communities, in the sense that a lot of them were about seedy criminal underworlds and stuff. And I think Shaft was one of the more sympathetic characters, and there were a lot of like films about pimps and stuff, and that those were sort of the the films that had black characters driving the plots were like that. So it was, I think, for black audiences, from what I can understand, that it was good that there were starting to be films that had black people in them, which just hadn't really happened before. But early on, it was unfortunate that they didn't represent black communities in a very positive light. So that's my understanding of the term blaxploitation.
That sounds right.
Cool. Watching it, I could see what they were talking about with this film, and I think we all could, right? Like they didn't. It barely went for a minute without some character mentioning that they were all black and talking about that in a very explicit way, which was it seemed kind of absurd now. Like every single line was something to do with someone being black, including this bit where he holds up the pen and says, you're not that black, and just every little bit, which was it was a weird one. So you think maybe part of his whole hyper masculine smooth player thing was a sort of stereotype of black men?
Yes and no. So I think it's interesting. So I happen just know that the part was written for a white actor, so it's not that tied to, and they didn't change much about it. So I think it just takes on a different significance because it's a black actor.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't necessarily say then, obviously it wasn't planned that way. It's just that it evolves into something new. And this is just from my own readings and anthropology of black urban masculinity and things like that, which is quite tied to misogyny and power dynamics. That's a very, very big generalization, but there's certainly a book called Righteous Dope Fiend that tracks sort of racial differences in addiction and things like that. And there's this sort of portrayal or stereotypical portrayal of like black men as having a sort of increased, I'm not very articulate today.
Like increased libido. And...
just sort of being like more sexually active.
Players, aren't they?
Yeah, in that sort of depiction.
Okay.
So I think that would feed into how we read this film as well, even though it wasn't necessarily intentional.
Yeah, okay. Crucially, I don't think it was presented as a bad thing, was it?
No, not at all.
Though, of course, I think anyone would have to conclude it is a bad thing to sleep around like that. It was just another example of him being cool, right?
Yeah. He's successful.
I don't know whether it's necessarily a bad thing to sleep around. But I think
like when you're in a committed relationship with one woman and she doesn't know about the other people, I think it's bad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much, I guess.
But I think maybe it was just the phrasing sleeping around like that is bad.
Oh, yeah, sure. So if you're not in a relationship, that's fine, but...
cheating,
even
I think, is bad.
Yeah, cheating is the word I was looking for.
Different strokes for different folks.
So that's interesting that you say it was it was originally not supposed to be a black character, Shaft.
Yeah, I don't know how that would have worked. I can't imagine
they must have significantly changed it because, like, especially all the dialogue, like all of it was about him being black.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah. I think the plot generally was the same, but they must have shifted a lot more. Yeah, imagine the whole script got turned upside down.
But that is interesting, though. I guess you can see where a character of any race could fit into it. It somehow for the overall plot, it wasn't crucial that he be black. But we had, if there was an interesting theme in this film, it was Shaft having one foot in each world, where all of the black characters keep calling him white, and all the white characters keep calling him black.
Yeah, that was interesting.
And that made for kind of a bit of an interesting conflict and a bit of an interesting character trait. As they said, he is a complicated man.
Yeah, that was interesting. And they brought in the who were they called? What were they called? The Black Power sort of movement.
The Black Panthers.
Were they the Black Panthers, or were they just?
They mentioned the Black Panthers early on, and then we see them. It's either the Black Panthers or something similar, right?
Yeah. That was interesting as well, because I didn't feel like they really did much. They were just like hired goons.
Yeah. Okay.
You know.
Yeah. It was interesting though to see them, like with all of the different criminal people around. They were the only ones who were doing things because they had something they believed in and were fighting for.
Yeah, that's true.
And that was interesting. That sort of set them apart a bit. They weren't just doing stuff for money, even if Bumpy thought that they were just doing stuff for money.
Bumpy.
Bumpy, I could have watched Bumpy all day.
Oh, what an interesting man.
With an interesting face.
Always hidden by a cloud of cigar smoke.
Yes, oh well, of course.
I thought his first scene was really interesting. Watching him and Shaft
compelling.
And that whole power struggle as they both try to...
That's my office chair.
Yeah.
And like, Shaft was bold. You know, this is the guy that runs Harlem, was it not? Like, just like, get out of my chair. And yeah, just didn't give an inch.
And threatened to kill him at the end, right?
Yeah, I mean that's one way to get respect.
That's a real ballsy move.
And just seeing, so Bumpy then sort of broke down that facade and ended up showing actual weakness, which I don't imagine anyone's seen in him. Well, that was the impression I got, was that he'd just sort of been out arroganced by Shaft.
Yeah.
And had no defence left. Yeah, I thought that was an interesting scene.
Yeah, it was a good relationship between the two of them, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I like this recurring thing, but did it happen 2 or 3 times where he rings Bumpy and he gets the answer wrong number, and then he says, "Cut the crap, this is Shaft," and then they start talking. I would love to have that relationship with someone that I could just tell them who it was and get them to make an exception for me. What was that because I couldn't figure out whether he was a really interesting, well-written character or if I was just desperately looking for something in among all these sort of cardboard cutout characters.
Oh, I felt so identified with him. I just felt like he was me. I thought he was an excellently written character just because he's basically me. I feel like I'm going to be him once I graduate from my PhD.
Oh.
Something to aspire to, I suppose.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to have my daughter kidnapped.
Well, then you'd get to meet Shaft.
Oh, that would be cool. But don't send 2 cats in after him with guns or they'll get thrown out the window. What else do we need to talk about?
Look, basically all my notes are just talking about how cool everyone is. And how terrible the police system is.
Yeah.
Like, just let the private investigator have a couple of minutes with the suspects for a little while.
Yeah.
Beat them up a little bit. Nothing wrong with that.
Oh, they knew how to get results, didn't they?
Oh, this is like the bloody Thomas Crown affair.
Yeah, just let the private investigator in. To be fair, that was the one guy, wasn't it? The commissioner or whatever his name was, who was sort of a bit bent, but wanted to just stop people from dying. So he was breaking rules to let Shaft sort everything out.
That's like his cop buddy Vic? Do you mean?
Was he called Vic? Yeah.
Yeah. I liked their relationship.
I think was an old friend of ours, right?
Really?
Who?
Was he in Fiddler on the Roof?
Was he?
As the Russian commissioner that's
my
been told
God.
to kick all the Jews out of the village and is trying not to do that, but also trying not to break his orders.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure that was the same guy.
Is he
in not a completely
typecast?
different role. Typecast as a junior authority figure who breaks all the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tries his best with what he's got.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, cool.
I think I'm going to have to start calling those tiny coffees espressos, because if it's good enough for Shaft, it's good enough for me.
Yes.
Espresso.
Don't you want a sandwich or something with it?
Just espresso.
I felt smugly superior, being like, you still think it's espresso, and you're the coolest man in the world.
Coolest cat.
The coolest cat in the uptown in the village.
Including Cafe Wa, which was very famous in the 60s and 70s.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Was it a chain, or was it that one cafe?
It was that one cafe in the village was where
right.
everyone played. Bob
Okay.
Dylan, Jimi Hendrix, all that crew.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think they just walked past it at one point, but I liked that. That made me happy.
Right, so this was another example of his jokes that kind of make him sound cool, but also aren't really funny if you think about them. He's sitting sipping his espresso, being all cool and smooth in the famous cafe, and then the Italian guy comes in and starts racially abusing him. So he says to the Italian guy, "Well, why don't you get an espresso as well?" And ask them to put some garlic in it for you.
Good one, Shaft.
That'll show him. That'll hurt his feelings.
Yeah. Bloody Italians with their garlic.
But again, you can kind of hear the cinema audience going, good one.
Yeah, now that you say it, the jokes really weren't very good.
Yeah.
But delivered with such confidence.
That's all it takes.
And that's 90% of it, isn't it? What's the difference between a good joke and a bad joke timing?
I've heard that one too many times.
I've never heard that in my life. That's great.
I tell that one all the time. Interesting having the gay character in that bar.
Oh, yeah. I liked
Is
him.
there a gay character?
Barman.
Yeah. I think he wasn't the barman, but he was he out with, so obviously Greenwich Village in New York was the sort of number one place in the 70s and 80s for gay culture, and a lot of the earliest examples of people thinking it's okay to be gay started there. And so but in 1971 that really was very early, and people really didn't have good attitudes towards homosexuality. And so it was interesting having that gay character who was presented as pretty all right.
But
he
Shaft
wasn't
was cool
a figure
with
of fun. Well, maybe that was the point they were making. But yeah, they didn't make him seem... They didn't play on a whole load of like negative homosexual stereotypes that they probably could have done. And they just it seemed to present this area where people are just cool with people being gay, and it was all fine, and that was nice to see, especially for 1971.
Yeah, we got a good glimpse of his character, I think. In the very brief time that we knew him, he was very charming.
Yeah.
Or maybe he was just charming. I don't know. I warmed to him very quickly, and then he was gone forever.
Yeah, that was sad.
Still part of the rich tapestry of Harlem and New York in the 1970s.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be interested to see anything that had been written about that character. I've certainly never seen a character represented as nicely as that, as early as that, and that's cool.
Yeah.
What else do we have?
Do we have any symbolism?
Symbolism.
Symbolism.
I feel like the smoke of the cigars is a symbol for something.
Oh,
I'm not quite sure. Oh, for the Holy Ghost. I was going to say Jesus, but not Jesus.
Yes.
Oh, we haven't really had the Holy Ghost in it before.
No.
I mean, Shaft is obviously Jesus.
Yeah, obviously Jesus. He's trapped between two worlds, and he's just doing what he can. I was going to say sacrificed himself, but he is the man who would risk his neck for his brother, man.
Who is the man that would risk his neck for his brother, man? Shaft! Can you dig it?
Yeah. Maybe Shaft
he's a true leader as well.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
He's an anti-symbol. Because he's just so straight talking. He does exactly what he says and means, and it doesn't symbolize anything. Like when that guy was like, "Where are you going?" or something, and he was like, "I'm going to go and get laid." And then, what do you know? He did go and get laid.
He did go and get laid. I think did he not go up to his office and murder someone first?
Well, he didn't say, "I'm going to go and get laid," without stopping off at the office to murder anyone.
That's true. Yeah, if you don't specify it doesn't count. That was another one that I think that was meant to be an uproarious joke, because he sort of goes, "To get laid, where are you going?"
Hey, where the hell are you going, Shaft?
To get laid, where the hell are you going?
That boy's got a lot of mouth on him.
Oh, Shaft, you crazy fool.
And Fernando's totally right about the ending being a letdown.
Oh, yeah, completely. It just ended suddenly. Like, well, that's the end of that.
Just walk away.
Forget about it.
Close it yourself, shitty.
Vic, your case just busted wide open.
So close it for me.
Let the crap, man. This is Shaft. Looks like you're gonna have to close it yourself. Shitty.
Slam the phone down, walk off, stroll down the street laughing with like criminals and police swarming everywhere and a war about to break out
between the mafia and the other like big drug dealers or something.
Yeah,
they just end on the crappiest joke because that woman called him shitty once.
Yeah.
There was a lot of parallels with the Thomas Crown Affair, wasn't there? Because that ending was crap as well, where she just goes, if you do that again, I'm going to break your fucking heart.
Yes, this was like the Thomas Crown Affair. They both had like loads of terrible police behaviour, just unprofessionalism.
No professionalism.
Really confused attitudes towards random sex. People who thought they were really suave and sexy and cool that were actually kind of lame.
Just making a lot of jokes that they assume are going to land and be hilarious, but actually have no content.
Maybe it was the same director or something.
If only we'd just watched the Thomas Crown Affair, that would have satisfied our game of finding the common thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're going to work it with speed cubers.
Oh, speed cubers. I mean, other than people who were amazing and really, really cool.
Yeah,
that is true.
I guess maybe he only had a limited time to solve the puzzle.
That's true. He only had 48 hours. And then they were going to take his gun.
Yeah.
We'll take your license, Shaft.
And they only had 6 seconds, or they were going to take their cubes.
Yeah. They were going to take their cube license away from them. Yeah. Yeah, good link.
Yeah. That's all. Those are all my thoughts on Shaft, I think. I might have some more.
I've got 3 more notes.
Oh, okay.
Does anyone else have anything?
No.
No, I've done all my notes.
These are very brief notes. It opened saying a Shaft Productions Limited picture, which seemed to me to be pretty optimistic to have set up an entire company around this. But they did go on and make a whole load more Shaft films.
Yeah.
Which apparently were all crap.
Was it Richard Roundtree?
Yeah. He was in another 2 or 3, I think, through the 70s. And then, they made this new one with Samuel L. Jackson, and I think one around 2000 with someone else. So that was something. But it's just they must have known it was going to be a hit or something. Let's go all in right now, make a production company. Next one, were they having espresso with lemon peel?
Oh, I didn't notice.
There was something about that. Yeah, I didn't understand it.
I think they brought in the espresso and said, sorry, there's no lemon peel. And that sounded interesting. Nice little zesty addition.
Don't know if I'd want lemon peel with my espresso, but I'm happy to be wrong.
Espresso. So that was a thought. Maybe I'll try that sometime. And
these are just notes to self.
Yeah. And last one is remember to buy milk. No. This last one. Beat Star Wars to it by 6 years. Remember this famous line where Han Solo is about to be frozen in a block of ice, and Princess Leia says, "I love you," and he says, "I know," and then that's the last thing you see him say for a whole film. And this has the "I love you," and he says, "Yeah, I know. Take it easy." And puts the phone down, which is just so good.
I hated him so much.
It was awful, wasn't it? But he's just way too smooth to be admitting that he loves someone, I guess.
That's great. That was the line of the film, really.
Big Star Wars to it.
Yeah.
That was the line of the film for you.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
I think the line of the film for me was Vic saying, "Closet yourself, shitty." Giving away that he'd overheard the conversation with the random one night stand.
That was quite good.
It was quite sweet. He had the big grin on his face. It was really funny.
I think my favourite line, I can't remember the exact line now. It was something like, and you know what you'd get if that happens? Bunch of dead cats.
Come to a shootout and it's all over. Bunch of dead cats.
Even in this crucial moment, we're still calling them cats.
Poetry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That was everything I've got.
Excellent. Yeah, good choice. I enjoyed. Yeah,
thank you.
A real staple of cinema. I'm glad I've seen now.
Yeah, definite 130.
I was torn between this and Undercover Brother, so maybe I'll pick that another time.
It sounds equally fun.
Yeah, similar idea, I think.
Well, if we're ready, I can close the meeting.
Indeed.
I'm ready.
I'm also ready.
Now, would you like the proper music, or shall I just play us off to the Shaft theme song?
I think we've got to have the proper music at least once in a meeting, haven't we?
Boo. Well, it'll take me another minute because I had the Shaft theme song set up.
Oh, no, well, I mean, it's up to you.
It's too late now. Hold on. Bloody ads. Oh, we can cut this as well.
I had to look up the phrase "private dick." That I hadn't heard that before.
Oh,
Apparently
I haven't
means
heard that
private detective.
Oh.
It's the opening line of the song is, who's the black private dick that's a sex machine to all the chicks? And the answer is Shaft. I think set the tone quite well for the film.
Yeah. Who's seen Father Ted? Because there's a good bit where he's dancing around and singing the Shaft theme song.
I don't remember that. I loved Father Ted.
I'll look that one up.
Yeah. Okay. I've got the music ready.
Yeah.
Great.
It is the proper music. In case you were lining yourselves up for another hilarious joke, but let's take this seriously.
Lovely. Right on.